Hello everybody. Oh yeah, I need to remove the Diablo stuff. Today we are going down. Try some fantasy. Yay! Nice. And I need some music. Press stuck. Stuck it up my butt. Alright. Find it atmospheric. Or the very beginning. And let's have some breakfast. And okay. Am I on? Yes. Hello. Just hopped online. No, it's alright. I enjoy talking to you, so it's alright. I just went on literally as we were chatting. I just forgot to post that I'm going live on Discord because I'm an idiot, so I always forget when do my first this then that. Good morning, Bless. How you doing? You feeling a bit better today? Honestly, I don't understand why the frick this thing puts ad break right away. Right? It's so frustrating. I just started a stream. Give people a break already. Right. Ah, coffee good. Coffee's so good. I'm not a huge coffee person, but with the advent of my son, I've become one. I'll drink it like twice a week. You can order that, you know? Really? No, I didn't know. All I have here is pre-rolls are enabled, run an ad to disable pre-rolls, and that's it. And funny enough, whenever I do run the ad to run pre-rolls, it bugs out my activity feed. All right. The bottom just. Oh, you mean that one? Yeah. Yeah. It's free. Okay. Oh my god. I love these granola little bars. Crunchy granola. I like Fee. Yeah. Fee is good. Yeah. So what's your day looking like today? Okay. Ah, so good. Food is good. Every time I get COVID, I'm starving famished. With other illnesses, usually I'm not. I'm more of a I'm a little bit tired, I can't really be arsed to eat or do much. I'll go for a soup, but with COVID, I could just eat like a ribeye steak. Not that I'm a huge fan of ribeye steaks, just making an example. E7. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're eligible, then both left to the CEA for cinemas to get someone to enroll for. Oh, okay. Um, I'll say I haven't really gone and been too creepy about it. I haven't really checked. Are we talking about the CEA card? I look into it. Because the problem is Scotland has different uh rules for things. Like even the NHS is different. Funny enough, back when the government forced people through the NHS to sign up and check these things for COVID and all that would always be sent to the British NHS, not the Scottish NHS. Um, and as soon as we be putting in the information, be like, yeah, you're not available here. You have to sign in Scotland. So I was like, wait, what? So yeah, we'll see. Hey, it looks nice, this card, yeah. Good on it. Sorry. I'm eating. Yeah, I get to see my second favorite side. Wait, is that being sarcastic or true? Ah, fair enough. Um, yeah, it's really good to be able to have someone to speak to. That's the hardest thing that I've been struggling with myself, whole situation. So yeah. I'm very happy for you. Are you gonna talk drugs? As a psychiatrist or psychologist? Psychiatrist, yeah. As soon as you mentioned drugs, I was like, yeah, there's like, oh, and there's a third psych. Yeah, I completely understand. I struggle a lot with it as well. I understand. It's still there, to be fair. When times get tough, when it gets really dark, sometimes voices come back. It's not 100%. Um, so funny enough, because of my experience with depression, I wanted to write that in the book, and I think I have an idea of how to do that. But the most frustrating thing is in this country, it's really hard to find the right help. Like, I'd go to my GP, and since Noah's been born, I've been struggling a lot with things, and I'd be like, I need a specific help. I need to, because I'm struggling as an autistic parent. And they're like, okay, first off, you need to be assessed officially. Give me the whole thing. It was like, yep, you fit the bill. We just need to get you assessed. I'm like, cool. How long would that take? Well, give it take 5 years. Right. So I need help now. And all they do is like give you either literature or things or drugs. It's like, go to these groups. Here's the drugs. Here's the literature. And I was like, is there nobody that can give me advice in the interim right now on things that can help me cope? And things that can help make, the situation a bit better? Just don't. And it's so frustrating. And I remember even with depression and other stuff, like the doctors are just kind of useless. They're just there to sometimes listen, but most of the time it's just cool. So what drug would you like me to give you? Boom. SPA referral, single point. I have no idea if that works. I know I've gone through the whole entire shebang with the mental health nurse and my GP on all the things that she could do. And even other stuff that other people have said, because she sent me to this autism group here in Scotland. And even have a Discord, and one of them is like, hey, try this place, try that place. And I went back to her and I was like, yeah, we can't really refer to this place. And that's the main issue, is that the government has had a lot of cutbacks and setbacks, so they can't really do a lot. And what they can do is very, very limited. This is what she's told me. I mean, it's her job to know this stuff, right? So if she tells me this is all I can do for you, the rest is if you find a private therapist who can, who specializes in autism and being a parent and all this other stuff, the real struggles, then cool. The GPs are just very bad here. In Italy, again, not trying to criticize the country or the system, but I'm more trying to compare. And in Italy, the GP is somebody who knows you personally. It's called a family doctor. They'll know you. They'll know your history. They'll speak to you. They'll take the time. They'll care. They'll listen to you, and then they'll try and give you the best course of action based on what you need. You each get, like, each family, there's a person get assigned one. They have their own office, and you go there. It's kind of like, and even as a kid, you get your own pediatrician, so pediatrician. And for example, as a woman, you get a kind of gynecologist, right? And you go through the. You don't have this stuff here in Scotland at all. You just get sent to the GP as a first line of defense, and then they just kind of throw you into the system. Edinburgh has their own council, yeah. Anyway, that's okay. I'll I'll be fine. One hopes. All right. So last we left this chapter, so Hawk and two of his party members, in Charles and Elianda. Oh, it's actually raining with the sunshine now. Cool. Hawk and Elianda are trapped in a cell after the cave-in that was caused by Hawk to try and save the group, well, part of the group anyway, from being killed and from the flood of monsters that was rushing through the underground. And now the Hawk got up, well, woke up in a very dark room, chained to the wall, and he was been talking to somebody called, what was his name? Me and my names, I'm so bad. I create characters and I forget their names, you know? There's Ethan. Yeah, Ethan, yeah. Yeah, I'll try, Bless. I'll try. We'll see how it goes. I don't have any high hopes at all. Like I'm just kind of. Thing is, once you do get into the system, because for example, when it was really really bad, they managed to fast track seeing someone through the system, and it took a grand total of 6 months, and that was when like with a rush. It was amazing. The person were really knowledgeable and they really helped. And whenever one wasn't working, they provided someone else. But yeah, to get there, whew. Thank you very much. Yep, have a good one. Season. The splitting headache just wouldn't quit no matter what. It was still hard to form coherent thoughts, but he knew in his gut that they needed to get out of there. Did you see our captors here? Other people came with unnecessary irons. He asked, thinking that the two types of monsters that they had met were very unlikely to have put them in a cell. He wondered if the monsters weren't working with someone else. Humans, perhaps? After all, the cult had been infiltrated, so more people might have been recruited to their side. Yes, I have, replied Ethan. The men come and go quietly. They brought us water and barely any food. They never speak, and I never caught a glimpse of their faces. Hawk tried to look at the room around once more, but his eyesight couldn't pierce through the darkness. It felt as heavy as the feeling he had gotten when looking down the tunnels before their fight. What happened to your friend? Is he still here with us? Another pause followed. Those things took him, the man said with a dry tone. They came in and pulled him out of the prisons, and all I could hear for him were his screams. Screamed for hours. I cried and I tried to get myself free, but there was nothing I could do. I haven't seen nor heard from him since. What Ethan had just told him made Hawk's stomach churn even faster. I have to get us out of here before the same happens to us, he thought. How did you get down here, friend? Who are you? You still haven't told me your name. Hawk was about to tell him his real name, but something in his mind pierced through the fog of his thoughts for a second, and he remembered the warning his companions had given him about trusting strangers. My name is Jacob, he lied. My companions and I were trying to join the League, as we come from outside the city and have been provided shelter and succor by Charles. We were making our way through the tunnels from the marina when we were suddenly ambushed by monsters that looked like snakes. Last thing I remember was being attacked, and then I woke up here. Silence followed once more. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie, hoping that he hadn't said something that might have given their true nature and purpose away. It would be so much easier to think without this headache, he thought to himself. He felt his throat dry and his lips parched and cracking. So very thirsty. I have to say, it's hard to believe you, Jacob. If that is truly your name, said the voice, and Hawk's stomach sank. I heard voices outside of this door when you, the lady, and the man were brought in here. They said you were wanted, and that your capture was very important to them. Did you truly come here for the League? Or was it because of something else? Who were the two of his group that had been brought in here with him? He wished they would wake up and say something. He didn't think that they would be kept here alongside them. Sorry. I didn't think that they would be kept here alongside them had they not been alive, but he couldn't help but think the worst, their status, especially since they had to yet wake up. Hawk took a pause to ponder the best reply to the stranger, trying to make up his mind, cooperate with him. Alas, he winged it by saying, "Yes, that's true. We've been running away from Otolmak Lord, taking safe passage to Oniris. My sister and I are but poor fishermen, and her beauty has attracted the unwanted attention of one of his sons. One night, the bastard tried to force himself onto her, and I had to stab him to get her away safely. Since then, we've been on the run and wanted throughout Tolmark." He didn't know if the story was convincing enough. Had he had time to think about it beforehand, he might have found a more suitable story. But using parts of what was actually true made his tone sound more assured, and Hawk, it would be more convincing. "My name is Jacob, truly," Hawk lied, trying to make his tone as friendly and pained as possible, hoping the man would trust him. "Jacob, the voice asked. "I do apologize for prying, but you must understand. I do not know you, nor do I trust you. The people outside have said that you were very dangerous, and that they'd be greatly rewarded by having captured you. But there are more people in here. So, Hawk, could they be listening in on us right now?" Ethan paused, and then after some time he continued. "I guess it would make sense if you had heard an important man such as that the region would look for you, and the reward would be great. But how can a fisherman warrant caution and be called very powerful?" "I do not know," Hawk said with a lower tone, hoping their conversation wouldn't be overheard. "I am somewhat strong, true, but no more than any other fisherman I've met." Hawk lied, entwining truth in his words. He knew fishermen to be extremely strong, regardless of their size. The man paused once more, and Hawk hoped to convince Ethan, not only because he didn't want to be caught in a lie, but also because he needed the man on his side if they were to try and escape the cell. "Right then, I apologize for not believing you, friend," Ethan finally said, and a knot pulled free in Hawk's gut. "I just wanted to make sure I could trust you." With a sigh of relief, Hawk tried to look around the room once more. "Can you see anything from your side?" he asked Ethan. It was hard to tell how wide the room was, as the sound carried differently in such a space. And the darkness didn't allow his eyes to see even a bit of his surroundings. Again, he wondered if he hadn't damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in the nights in the mansion, he could still see things in the dark, so long as his eyes adapted to it. Still, he'd never been in a room without any light source. So he hoped it was just a room that made it impossible to see. He also realized how dependent he had become on holding the power in such a situation. The lack of his heightened senses made him feel as if he were missing a limb. No, can't see at all. But I know that the room is quite wide. When the guards come to bring us food, you're able to see it too. Did you notice anything else in this room that we could use to escape? Hawk asked as he tried to pull on his manacles to test his strength against them. Without his power, it might have been easier for him to break his wrists than to actually break free of them. Not much is here. There is a grate in one of the corners. I think it's used as a sluice, but other than the plates and cups we're given ourselves, there isn't anything else in this room. This is contorted. I have to change it later. I tell ya, the worst of it is the darkness. Not being able to tell the day, the hour. At least now I have some company once more. The man began to sob. How are we supposed to eat or drink if we can't loosen our arms? Asked Hawk. Oh, I've only got my legs clasped in irons, but you, I believe they really don't want you to get free. I don't know how you'll eat. I don't think they're the type of to spoon feed you. At least, you know they want to keep you alive. Panic seeped into the man's voice once more. It's going to be okay, Ethan, Fox said, trying to assure him. We'll get out of here. Okay, so it's okay. Let's go on. Wrestling to dark hot you attention. What was to his far left? Then room sounded off in darkness. He and Charles boys said. Where in the devils are we? His voice was quiet. And unsteady. Hawk was about to roll out his friends, his guides' name. But then, the nagging sensation on the back of his head nudged him to try something else. Are you alright, John? Said Hawk. His voice loud, clear, hoping that the man would know who was speaking. But he'd catch on to deploy. He'd quickly catch on. Quickly catch on to deploy. Warm now. 13 degrees, but it's warm here. I think the dryer's still on. Give me a sec. Here's the dryer. What? What? Say? Charles voice. By the way, Charles voice. This is singular. No. Singular. So this is how it's supposed to be written. Not the other way. Sounded a bit more steady now. Perhaps men also the man's injury were as heavy as hot, and he wasn't quite as lucid. It's me, Jacob. Can't you hear me? Okay. John. Hawk said, accentuating the names. John, please. That he thought to himself. There was a pause. I lay heavy in the darkness, and then after some rustling of chains, his friend said, I'm okay. So seem to have I am quite strong Headache. Okay. Charles. But I feel all in one piece. How about you? Yep. Something in his companion's voice made him understand that he'd caught on to what Hawk was trying to. Feel the same. Perhaps we were both bumped ahead when we tried to escape. Continued, replied Hawk, trying to weave the lie into shape. I need to write down the names because if I'm using names, I want to ensure that. Alright, so where's this? Oh, so what we call Elianda? What will we call her? Margaret. No, Margaret. Margaret's been used. Uh, Linda. Okay. Linda. There's an ETH. There's. I believe Margaret lying somewhere here and this as well. Continued. And I hope nothing hurt her as I'd ring out of the neck of anyone trying to hurt my sister. Also, how with that, well, hope you have laid enough of the lie for Charles catch on in a middle ground. Man had been much more adept on Hulk at this sort of thing, seeing as he led the league. But Hulk hoped his lack of expertise on the side wouldn't give the lie away. Didn't know Togi hype. Freaking cunt. Didn't know why felt will press lie. After all, man in their cell was very much in the situation, and if what he said was true, then Charles knew him. So, but just couldn't take feeling back. Had he been wrong, he could have apologized. The man later. As One Piece. There's another man from Ig. Ig, you might know. His name is Ethan. I think Charles was speaking to his mother right before he left. You might know him. Hello there, friend, said Ethan. More. Hawk, and said, "Hey Hawk, yeah, wake up." telling me how you you hadn't told me. Or said Ethan. John. How many more are there? But a few. John here was one of the guards who came with us. Then said Charles with a dry tone. I do remember your mother. Thank to Charles, but you and friend also hey you both here with us. Is there someone else here with us? Hawk, bird, and move around, likely searching and through the pitch dark for some other figures. Acid. See anything. Don't know if this chapter sounds a bit too wordy, too annoying. There is a reason why I'm laying out the discussion like this. I just want to get the conversation done, and when that's finished, I'm going to see if I need to adjust anything like that. I just want to see where it's going, my mind, and after that, I'll be able to adjust the chapter. Should it be too wordy, too useless, too redundant? But I just want to get it over with this part. Not in a bad way, but I just want to get it finished. So I'll be right back and go put something in the kitchen. There is one more from your party. said Ethan. I think she is somewhere left near the far wall. She too is unconscious. Charles and Ethan had Charles had slipped into the lie quite comfortably. But that let's do this. Hawk released a sigh of relief as there you go. Okay, so what should we do here? Where should we take it? Because I don't want to continue the conversation for too long. Let's reread. I can't see it all, but I know the room is quite wide. When the guards came to bring us food, we'll be able to see it too. Notice anything else in the room that could use to escape? Hawk asked as he tried to pull his manacles. That's his strength against them. Without this power, it might have been easier for him to break his wrists than to actually break free of them. Though not much is here. There is a grate in one of the corners. I think I used the sluice. It's used as a sluice, but other than that, some metal, some plates, and cups. There isn't anything else in this room. I tell you, the worst of it is the darkness. Not being able to tell the day, the hour, time, day. Or okay. At least then now I have some company once more. Man began to sob. How are we supposed to eat or drink if we can't loosen our arms? Asked Hawk. Oh, I only got my legs clasped in irons, but you, I believe they really don't want you to get free. I don't know how you'll eat. I don't think they're the type of to spoon feed you. At least, you know, they want to keep you alive. Panic seeped into the man's voice once more. Going to be okay, Ethan, Hawk said, trying to reassure him. We'll get us out of here. Rustling in the dark caught Hawk's attention. It was to his far left. Then a groan sounded off in the darkness. Charles's voice said, "Oh, when the devil's name am I?" His voice was quiet and unsteady. Hawk was about to call out his guide's name, but a nagging sensation in the back of his head nudged him to try something else. "You're right, John," said Hawk. voice loud and clear, hoping that the man would know who he was speaking to and that he'd quickly catch up on the boy. What, what did you say? Charles's voice sounded a bit more steady now. Perhaps the man's injury were as heavy as Hawk's, and he wasn't quite as lucid. It's me, J Book. Wow. Jacob? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, John? Hawk said, accentuating the name. Please catch up. Please. He thought to himself. There was a pause. That lay heavy in the darkness, and then after some rustling chains, his friend said, I'm okay, although it seemed to have hit my head. Somehow, I have quite a strong headache. Why, Charles? I feel all in one piece. How about you, Jacob? Something in his companion's voice made him understand that he caught on to what Hawk was trying to do. I feel the same. Perhaps we were both bumped in the head when we tried to escape, replied Hawk, trying to weave into the lie into shape. I believe Margaret is lying somewhere here in this room as well, he continued, and I hope nothing hurt her that wring out the neck of anyone trying to hurt my sister. With that, Hawk hoped that he'd laid enough of the lie for Charles to catch on and get Charles to catch on. Enough. Man, I'd be much more adept than Hawk at this sort of thing, seeing as he led the league. But Hawk hoped his lack of experience on his side wouldn't give the lie away. He didn't know why he felt so pressed to lie. After all, the man in their cell was very much same in the same situation. And if what he said was true, then Charles knew him. But he just couldn't shake that feeling from the back of his mind. Had he been wrong, he would have apologized to the man later. There's another man here from the league. No, continued Hawk. His name is Ethan. I think Charles was speaking to his mother right before he left. We left. I know him. He told me that there were other people in the group before, said Ethan with a questioning tone. How many more were there? There were but a few. John here was one of the guards that came with us. Ethan, said Charles with a dry tone. Do you remember your mother saying something to Charles about you and your friend getting lost in the tunnels? You both here with us. Is there someone else here with? Hawk heard the man move around. Charles. Otherwise, it sounds like Ethan. Likely searching through the pitch black darkness for some other figures. Blasted, I can't see anything, Charles. There's one more from your party, said Ethan. I think she's somewhere on your left, near the far wall. Two, unconscious. Hawk released a sigh of relief as Charles seemed to have slipped into the light quite comfortably. Actually, doesn't sound too bad. All will be explained. Gotta go get some water. All right. Steps started off in the distance behind the door. The group, they all went quiet, straining. Hawk tried straining his ears. Oh, why I meant an art? I'm an art. Hey, thank you so much for that follow. I really appreciate it. Bottom of my heart. Hawk tries straining his ears. He could make out only one person. Heavy. Although it was hard to tell as sound rebound and echoed down what must be a hallway. Longer. With a loud when the steps grew closer, a shadow broke this thin outline, a thin line, light from under the door, and then a loud noise. Clank came from the door itself. A set of keys jingled, no jingles, jingled, and then let's say keys chimed. Then the door opened upwards. Hawk strained his eyes to adjust the sudden light. After a few no heartbeats. Was it eyelids beating? No. How would you say that after batting his eyelids a few times? After batting eyelids a few times, it could make outline of a very bulky man. Although Hawk couldn't quite see his face. Behind him, so long corridor lined similar doors like the one that did just that lay oh, like the one over there. So a large iron bar was placed in the middle beach and a set heavy lock lay near pommel. Each door was reinforced with heavy wood and lined with some sort. Pushing through when nothing short of an explosion or the power itself would have been able to ram through it. He thought to himself. And he turned quickly to look at Charles, Ethan, and the last person in their room was Elianda. He could see that she was also awake, although she hadn't spoken at all. Charles looked at Ethan. At they all looked at each other, and Hawk saw that Charles was puzzled when Ethan moved sight over. I'm just thinking how I should shape this scene. The main problem at the moment that I'm facing is, see, if there was some way to see each other's face, then that'd be something. Problem is, because if you see the faces, then I can describe that somebody was frowning and that person was doing something or something like that. I believe because of the situation that they're in, the fact that they're in a cell, and that is a very like isolation kind of situation, cell where you're deprived of light, you don't know what's happening. It's darker, scarier, not just scary as in ooh spooky, but as in it's a much heavier situation for anybody who's captured in the cell, being deprived of most of the important senses. Um, I think it makes the scene a bit better. The sound, it's a cool thing that I can play around with the noises, using the other senses as descriptions. The problem is the interaction between them is tough because of the fact that Ethan is an Ethan, right? So if Ethan was so how do I break it? Because like there's two places I could take it. Either they keep playing along and Ethan plays along with them and they figure out a way to escape, and then as they get to a certain point, Ethan betrays them. But with the fact that, Charles has the like is kind of the check for Ethan being the not Ethan, right? Because it's one thing you can lose the memory to a certain degree. Then you can lie about it. Maybe I could say, oh yeah, he was also hit or something happened. He doesn't have a lot of recollection and memory. He just has bits and pieces like his mom and stuff like that. And they kind of all play along. And I think that would be a cooler thing, because if I cut the chapter and they've managed to break through, it seems a bit too easy for them, perhaps. It seems a bit strange that it's so simple, because that's the thing. Like if you're in a cell area, usually you'll have guards, you'll have people, or monsters kind of keeping guard of them. It wouldn't be so easy to escape. Uh, and then I could cut the chapter at the reveal of the guy not being the guy, right? I could do that, or I could do it within the cell. That it's all a discourse, and through the discourse, Charles figures out that Ethan is not Ethan, and kind of made up and all this stuff, and then the realization happens in the cell, but on the latter, I think it's a bit more boring to follow through, and it's a bit tougher, especially because there's no light. If it weren't in the dark, it'd be much easier. I could do it so that Elianda smells the guard, wrinkles her nose, and when the guard leaves, says there's something off about this. I just have a feeling, or something of that sort, and therefore they know that the guard doesn't seem human. Doesn't like there's something very very wrong with this person, and because she doesn't have that with Charles, with Ethan, they are kind of like, well, it's okay. Maybe he hit his head. They're gonna still play along with the lie, so they're kind of covered until the point they get to. Yeah, I think I could do that. And then when the right now they'll be given some water, right? Some not even food, like just like some water for now, and as the water given, Eliana can say there's something wrong with the water. She fakes drinking it, and then as the guard leaves, she's been quiet all throughout. Guard leaves, close the door. Leander spits the water and says there's something very wrong with the water. And she also has a headache. And then Charles can say, "Oh, the likelihood of all three of us of having the same headache, and there's something wrong with the water. The water is likely poison." Yeah, I think we could go that way, and then they all escape from the prison thanks to Charles. Don't know how though. That's the thing. How they break out of the prison lock, because there's a like a like a plant that goes, in. Because Hawk just doesn't have access to his powers, and he would be the one who would easily, well, quote unquote, easily get a feel for that. As I don't want Oleander to have the same powers as Hawk. There's no point in that necessarily. Because then otherwise she'd never been captured, never would have died. Unless we could use our head. And it could be Charles. Because Charles is leader of the league, right? So he might know. He might notice that the door is on specific hinges. And he could notice that, you know, that if pushed in a certain way plus some applied force, yeah, that could work. And it could be Eliana that because she hasn't drunk the water, she clears up a little bit more. She has also because her strength is not based on a power. The strength is based off of her race, right? She's a Draken. Therefore, they're inherently stronger, more agile. So together with a couple of tools, they'll be able to force the door open. Let to get ready and go. Yeah, I think that's it. It's not great per se, but yeah, I think this might be a way to do it. I think yeah, I think that might be the best way because if I do it the other way around, it's just not gonna make any sense, and it's quite important to keep a line side that makes sense, keep something logical, because otherwise, while you're reading, the suspension of disbelief doesn't happen. And you're like, wait, what? How does that person manage to do this? How do they manage to do that? So, yeah, I believe this would be a much better way of doing things, personally. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. That Steps started off in the distance behind the door. Hawk tries straining his ears. And they all went quiet. Hawk tries straining his ears. He could make out one person, heavy. Although it was hard to tell, his sound rebounded and echoed down what must have been a longer hallway. When the steps grew closer, a shadow broke the thin line of light from under the door, and then a loud clank came from the door itself. A set of keys chimed, then the door opened outwards. Hawk strained his eyes to adjust to the sudden light. After batting his eyelids a few times, he could make the outline of a very bulky man. Very tall and bulky figure. Although Hawk couldn't quite see his face. Behind him, Hawk saw a long corridor lined with similar doors like the one of the cell. A large iron bar was placed in the middle of each, and a heavy lock lay near the pommel. Near each side. Each door was reinforced with heavy wood, lined with some sort of metal. Nothing short of an explosion or the power itself. Power? Thank you. Would have been able to get us out. Yeah. Out. How to himself. Jerry turned quickly to look at Charles, Ethan, the last person in the room. It was Elianda. A sigh. His stomach jumped relief with relief. As she seemed to be all in one piece and alert. Alert went out. You could see that she was also awake, although she hadn't spoken at all. They all looked at each other, and Hawk saw that Charles was puzzled when Ethan moved side over him. Well, where did we stop? Here. I don't think we wrote a lot. 817 is not bad. It's not a lot. This has been one of the slower chapters. And it's because as I'm writing it, it feels like I'm just going through mud to get it out. Because I don't think my brain has figured it out. So having these conversations saying, oh, this could happen, that could happen, is helping me realize things. Like, for example, here, I didn't even think about, oh, you know what I could do is have Elianda be awake already, or that she'd been awake, like she'd wake up as well as Charles. And then as I was writing, I was like, well, actually, wouldn't it be better if she was the kind of person, because of her character, to be more quiet and suspicious, right? And because of her eyes, she could actually see better in the dark, right? So let's put a couple of points. Elianda can see better with her eyes in the dark. Kind of gives me water given to them. He spits it out after guard leaves. Guard there's something natural with the guard is off-putting. Charles tries just understand why Ethan didn't recognize him. Oh, also we need to speak about right, Charles, Ethan. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I have written somewhere one of my notes. No, it's not here. Did I put him here? No. Monsters. I'll have to look at how the Ziza can work. Because the Ziza, basically the way I envision them is there's different stages in their life. You know, they start gestating in the egg as a snake, and then through a process similar to aliens, but not really. They burrow into the body of somebody, and then they become part of that person. Once they get old enough, so they can transform into the person and or into wolves. I'm not sure if it's the choice and kind of funnels them into either the wolf parts or into the person parts. Maybe I'll be like, yeah, they either become this or that. Only select few become this and that. Otherwise, they could just take over the world. And then as people, they are the people, but not really. Something off about them. They're gays or something in them, like they're not quite there. I think that would be a thing. Oh, that'd be cool, actually. Guard is friend. Hey, welcome back, Wes. How'd it go? So yeah, I could do that. Yeah, and okay. Okay. I could do it that way, yeah. So yeah, we do it so that the Leander figures out that the person is actually wearing the body. But she says it in such a way that she doesn't give away who she is. Um Yeah, I think that would be good. And then the part of the scene could be that, but how do they get out? That's the problem. I don't see them. Like, they get out of the hole, they run, 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 couple of holes, and then maybe Ethan could guide them, saying like, um, Charles, and break through, or Ethan has memory. Oh, get out. Plus, they start being chased. Funnels them in. I quote, I have a evil, not actually evil plan to do on date. Help me survive till then. Lol. Uh, okay. Is it for the thing that we were discussing last night? Is that what you said to what was her name, Laura? What? My gosh. Days. And yeah, maybe it's gonna have to break the chapter. We'll see where it goes because maybe complicated, but yeah, we'll see. I think this is a good outline for the chapter. I don't really necessarily always enjoy doing the non-pantser thing with writing because I'm more of a pantser, so I'd like to see where the chapter is leading me. But for some reason, this chapter is so hard for me to see where we're going. Granted, I mean, I'm still writing. Like I wrote over 800 words today, so it's not like it's not going anywhere. But for some reason, whenever I am writing, it feels like it's not good, more so than usual. No, thank you very much, Wes. If any actual physical part will go in there, I will not touch it. Like that is very disgusting. I will not like that is just gross. That is no. Now we're crossing into that's just wrong. Please don't, or I will just not get the box or whatever you're gonna do at all. I don't know this part yet, but yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's a good place to leave it at. Yeah, but you're talking about freaking toenail clipping, so I don't know where you're going. You know? This is a good part to leave it at. This is how much we wrote today. It is 817 words, not counting these. So it's not bad. Let's reread real quick what we just wrote. See if it flows all right. Go from here. This is a bit above what we rewrote. Started writing. Again, he wondered if he hadn't damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in the night at the mansion he could still see things in the dark, so long as his eyes adapted to it. Still, he had never been in a room without any light source, so he hoped it was just a room that made it impossible to see. He also realized how dependent he had become on holding the power in such a situation. The lack of his heightened senses made him feel as if he were missing a limb. No, I can't see at all, but I know that the room is quite wide. When the guards come to bring us food, we'll be able to see it too. Did you notice anything else in this room that we could use to escape? Hawk asked, as he tried to pull on his manacles to test his strength against them. Without his power, it might have been easier for him to break his wrists, to actually break free of them, and to not much is here. There's a grate in one of the corners. I think it is used as a sluice. But other than that, than some plates and cups, there isn't anything else in this room. Tell ya, the worst of it is the darkness. Not being able to tell the time of day. At least now I have some company once more. Man began to sob. How are we supposed to eat or drink if we can't loosen our arms? Asked Hawk. Oh, I've only got my legs clasped in irons. But you, I believe they really don't want you to get free. I don't know how you'll eat. I don't think they're the type to spoon feed you. At least, you know, they want to keep you alive. Panic seeped into the man's voice once more. It's going to be okay, Ethan, Hawk said, trying to reassure him. Get us out of here. We'll get us out of here. Yeah, so you say. So you say, Bliss. A rustling in the dark caught Hawk's attention. It was to his far left. Then a groan sounded off in the darkness. Charles' voice said, "Oh, where in the devil's names am I?" His voice was quiet and unsteady. Hawk was about to call out his guide's name. The nagging sensation at the back of his head nudged him to try something else. "You're right, son," said Hawk, his voice loud and clear, hoping that the man would know who was speaking, that he'd quickly catch on to the ploy. His boy. What did you say? Charles's voice sounded a bit steadier now. Perhaps the man's injuries were as heavy as Hawk's, and he wasn't quite as lucid. He also maybe show don't tell. It's me, Jacob. Can you hear me, John? Hawk said, accentuating the names. Please catch on, please, he thought to himself. There was a pause that lay heavy in the darkness, and then, after some rustling of chains, his friend said, I'm okay, although I seem to have hit my head somehow, as I have a quite strong headache. Got Charles, but I feel all in one piece. How about you, Jacob? Something in his companion's voice made him understand he'd caught on, not one, to what Hawk was trying to do. I feel the same. Perhaps we were both bumped in the hand when we tried to escape, replied Hawk, trying to weave the line into shape. I believe Margaret is lying somewhere here in this room as well, he continued. I hope nothing hurt her, as I'd bring out the neck of anyone trying to hurt my sister. With that, Hawk hopped to have laid enough of the lie for Charles to get on. The man had been much more adept than Hawk at this sort of thing, seeing as he led the league. But Hawk hoped his lack of expertise on his side wouldn't give the lie away. They didn't know why he felt so pressed to lie. After all, the man in their cell was very much in the same situation. And if what he said was true, then Charles knew him. But he just couldn't shake the feeling in the back of his mind. Had he been wrong, he would have apologized to the men later. There's another man here from the league you might know, continued Hawk. His name is Ethan. I think Charles was speaking to his mother right before we left. You might know him. You hadn't told me that there were other people in your group before, said Ethan with a questioning tone. How many more were there? We were but a few. John here was one of the guards that came with us. Ethan, said Charles with a dry tone. I do remember your mother saying something to Charles about you and your friend getting lost in the tunnels. Are you both here with us? There's someone else here with us. Hawk heard Charles move around, likely searching through the pitch-black darkness. Some other figures. I said, I can't see anything. Charles. There's one more of your party, said Ethan. I think she's somewhere on your left, near the far wall. She's still unconscious. And here other friend back. He was carried off by the guards, and I haven't seen since. Hawk released a sigh of relief as Charles seemed to have slipped into the light quite comfortably. Steps started off in the distance behind the door. They all waited quiet. Hawk tried straining his ears. He could make out one person, heavy, although it was hard to tell from the cadence and loudness of the times. He could make out one person, heavy, although it was hard to tell, as a sound rebounded and echoed down what must have been a longer hallway. When the steps grew closer, a shadow broke the thin line of light from under the door. Then a loud clang came from the door itself. Then a set of keys chimed on the door, opened outwards. And were placed Oh, I saw that. I just saw that, Bless. Thank you. Thank you. And we're placed into the keyhole. A hidden keyhole. I think that's it. Hawk strained his eyes to adjust to the sudden light. After batting his eyelids a few times, he could make out the outline of a very tall and bulky figure, though Hawk couldn't quite see his face. Behind him, he could quite see his face. Behind him, Hawk saw a long corridor lined with similar doors, like the one of their cell. A large iron bar was placed in the middle of each, and a heavy lock lay near each side. And not a heavy lock, but let's say, and the metal flat shape and shaped like equal lay at the bottom left door, likely hiding the only way to unlock the cells. I think that would be a bit better. Each door was reinforced with heavy wood and lined with some sort of metal. It's short of an explosion or the power itself could get out, he thought to himself. He tried to reach out again for inside of his mind, but nothing of it. Just barren emptiness that made him feel hollow. Then he turned quickly to look at Charles, Ethan, and the last person in the room, who was Elianda. His stomach jumped with relief, as she seemed to be all in one piece and alert. He could see his heart. You could see that she was also awake, although she hadn't spoken at all. They all looked at each other, and Hawk saw that Charles was puzzled when Ethan moved his right over him. Constant. Quickly moved. Alright, cool. So this should be okay. And that is a total of 880 words. So that's not too bad. That should be okay. We managed to write a little bit more. I'm gonna go take a small break here. I mean, any days where this writing progress is a good day for me. So that's always nice. Num nums. Oh, by the way, are you into, by any chance, seeing oh, like nice books? I don't know if you like nice books or something like that. Bless. 100 plus words is progress. Yeah, but it feels so slow. It's so sluggish. Not even funny. Today is this chapter is not going as I expected. It's not a writer's block per se, but it's just very sluggish. There are days where I could write 1,500 words and it just flows through me. And other days, it's like a faucet. What your gift is? I have not. I have not gone. Still here. I need to go myself. There. And it's... I need to just pop out. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it today. Also because I still have COVID, so I don't really want to like make anybody sick. Granted, my friends, they didn't care, you know. They're like, yeah, it's fine. You know, we get it all the time. The kids, because they had 2 kids, they're always in nursery and all this kind of stuff. So they always bring back a bug. So they didn't really care, but they don't really want to go out and contaminate the world, if you know what I mean. Something related. So I thought you had. No. All right, fair enough. Well, yeah. So I have these cool collector's edition. Let me show you. These are like the loot haul for this year of, I think I showed this one before. This is The Devils. Joe Abercrombie. It's really cool. What I like about this kind of special collector's edition is that you can place them like this on a bookcase, and if they're series, you can make out what the series is without having to do that. And inside they have like very beautiful like custom made illustrations of the story itself. So you know, and then the cover as well is very specific. Like it's got writing and it feels very fancy. That's one. Then I have this one, which is Empire of the Vampire, which is one of the ones I wanted to read. Very similar, signed as well. Has a castle aside, and it's really gorgeous because it's white and gold, so feels like you have a coat of arms here. It's really nice. And the other one is another one made by the Broken Binding, which is The Magician by Raymond Feist, and another gorgeous. This one has like foiling on top. That's really nice. Similar. Yeah, the white and gold is gorgeous, yeah. So this is just beautiful foiling. This is a 3-part series, so we'll get other 2 books out of this one. And you have like illustrations in the middle and a special golden thing here. So they're all very beautiful things. They're collectible as well, especially when signed. But yeah, very fortunate to have these. Because for these ones you have to subscribe to, like, you have to be on a waiting list for months and months, sometimes years, and then you subscribe, you pay like 25 quid a month plus shipping, and then you get one. Not that expensive, but still, yeah. All these special editions, they're all nice, and I love books, so it's never a waste for me. Anyway, yep, I'm gonna go num nums. As I said, I'll try and see because I still have a little bit of fever and I'm not feeling that great. I likely won't go today to the post office to pick up the stuff, but I'll probably go tomorrow. Um, then I'll let you know when I get it right away. I might like hold off and open it on stream. I think it'd be much easier and better for everybody. And for now, I'm thinking today. I'll just like go make a sandwich and I'll be right back. I'm just thinking for today if I should go Diablo in the afternoon or if I should go something else because granted Wednesdays usually are very 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 quiet, so I could do that more tomorrow. But I'm just wondering because yesterday's afternoon was fairly quiet, so I don't know. Uh, I wonder what I should be doing because I could just pop on what's his face First Ascendant. I don't know. I do not know. You. I mean, you could weigh in on what you think I could do. I would love to hear. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go and take a break. What I'll do is I'll start the stream once I get back. It's just gonna be a quick stop start, so I can swap it because I'm streaming on YouTube as well. So for YouTube's, it's gonna be easier. That way, it breaks it up because there's no way to do it in chapters like in Twitch. Oh, you have to remap for TFD. All right. It's just because it's been kind of very quiet in the afternoons for Diablo. Like well, yesterday afternoon, it was just me running bosses and a couple of people joining. And I actually don't need bosses, and I'm not gonna do another class in Diablo this season. I don't think I could definitely, especially because I have a lot of gear. But I don't know that I need to do that. Maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe because that's what I have. Like it's either I make a barbarian this season to try out the summoner build. If not, I'm not gonna do it, and I might leave this for later. I don't know. We'll see. Neighbor saw me go off in an ambulance. She did my bins for me while I was away. She's so good. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, this is so kind. Yeah, because you have the bins outside, right? Fair enough. All right. Well, I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll go make a sandwich. I'll be back like in 5-10 minutes. I don't know how long it'll take me to make the sandwich and take. So, and then after that, we'll decide what to do.
Ya.
Now we're back. Yeah, that was the notification for people following. Thank you, Lady Rights. I don't know if you're still in the channel, but thank you so much for following. It's just Stream Elements has made it so tough as reset for some reasons. Things have changed, so anyway, sandwich at hand. Let's dig in. And it's not an evil laugh, for sure. It's a funny laugh. See. That's okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's just I don't know if it's too loud because as I said, Stream Elements has changed it, messed up some stuff, but it's just a notification with somebody follows, and it's Luffy's laugh from the anime One Piece. I'll play it again. Not too loud here. I don't know. It's because the lady writes followed, so I think they've left already because it wasn't BRB. And what did you make for lunch? Or what are you getting for lunch? We should cook some cheese and they came out. Is the cheese so happy you chose it? That's why it's laughing from deep inside. That's why. Barbecue and bourbon extra with 2 cheddar. Wait, what? Barbecue bourbon? Excuse me? Maybe it was the fact that it's bourbon based. Not a huge fan of taste of alcohol in food. Maybe if you burn it off, bourbon thoughts and stuff tends to linger. Oh, I see. I've seen it before. Oh, they actually have real bourbon in there. 2.5. I tend to like smoky cheeses. So my favorite one is Italian pecorino. A well-aged pecorino. Not the one that's too aged, but just a step before. It's so good, so tasty. I don't know if you ever had that, but there's nothing like the pecorino you find at Tesco. Delicious. Not on sandwiches or burgers, you don't really put that because it's very salty. You could put it in the mix of the patty actually. There's not too much because it doesn't have a lot of fat. It's gonna make it real salty. You make your own burgers. Oh yeah, it's the chicken ones. Yeah, fair enough. Hmm. Ah, fair enough. I'll be right back. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna start some D4. Tomorrow I'll go back to TFD. Actually, speaking of TD, wait. I need to launch it, I think, at least once to get a daily. I'll do that as a self-start to stream. I'll be back in just a jiffy. Self-start. Change the multi-stream to another game. Be right back.